Lewis says, "Hey Bradley, what's going on? A tree service lead gen of mine started generating consistent leads last week after 1 year of setting it up. Now it's generating at least one legit tree service lead per day. That's outstanding. Since I'm fairly new to the tree service niche, I wonder how much I should be charging a business owner for my leads as far as a weekly or monthly flat fee goes." That's a good question. I see. I don't really do it that way anymore. Like that's like rank and rent. I don't really do. I mean, I do rank and rent, but I do that with LOG sites, and I only charge $99 a month to rent those sites. No kidding. It's not a joke, and it's just because those sites are so easy to build and they rank so well that it's just like there's no sense in me charging a lot for that. I use it as a deal sweetener to get the retainer based clients. Like understand that's why I call it the directory hybrid agency. The hybrid part of that is because I do a combination of lead gen and retainer based services now for everybody. And so I like to build LLG sites or local lead gen sites. And then when they're ranking, then I approach companies in that area and then say, listen, I've got this site that's ranking. So I know how to get results in your area. I'm outranking you for your own products and services. Are you interested in having a chat and how I can help you to do the same? And then when I get on a call with them, I might offer to assign that LOG site to them if they hire me with traditional retainer based services to do SEO for them as well. That makes sense. Or just rent them that site. Again, I don't charge any more for it than now just $100 a month for the site because I want to make it up in volume and not try to hammer the one contractor or company over the head with pricing for that. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm just saying that's what I do. Okay. So I don't do rank and rent sites where I try to charge for what the value of that particular site is. I don't really care. And now if you've got a GBP, that's different. I'm talking about just an organic asset only. If you've got a verified GBP that's generating leads, then yeah, you can rent that out on a flat fee, but I recommend doing on a pay per lead basis instead. I think that's a better way to do it. And so, like, for example, it varies wildly for me as to what I charge on a pay per lead basis. In Northern Virginia, I can't charge anything less than $100 a lead now because it's the cost to generate those leads is so high. But like in Louisville, I only charge $65 per generated lead because it's less expensive to generate leads there. So I base that kind of on cost per click values in Google Ads and also what it costs me to generate the lead too. Because I will usually, if I'm going into a new area to try to sell leads first, I will usually set up a Google Ads campaign to try to determine what my average CPA is for generating leads with Google Ads. And then I use that data in pitching what I'm selling my leads for, which is usually less than what it costs to generate it via Google Ads. That's my unique selling proposition is, hey, look, if you were to go to Google Ads and pay for these leads, this is what your average CPA would be. I charge less than that. So would you be willing, are you interested in working with me? That's what I do. So, and again, I'm just stating like, it varies. I don't have kind of a blanket fee for, I don't do rank and rent except for the LLG sites, which are organic only assets. Everything else is either pay per lead or it's revenue share, which is how I've monetized most of my best tree service lead gen sites or TVPs have been the revenue share model, which is where I charge 10% of whatever the contract price is for the jobs that they close. That's it. I don't get paid for leads that don't close. I only get paid for leads that generate revenue for the business, but I get 10% of whatever the contract price is. And I prefer that over any model when it comes to lead gen. But you have to have a level of trust with that contractor, and you can trust them, but you also have to verify if they're lying to you. Because I've had a number of tree service contractors over the years that were lying to me and telling me that they weren't closing jobs that they indeed were. And I always thought that was the dumbest thing in the world. That's like killing the goose that lays the golden egg. If you're only paying for leads that have generated revenue for your business, why the hell would you lie about it? Try to cheat the lead generator out of what's due to them. Because then once you get caught, you've just dried up your lead source. But tree guys aren't the most, the smartest bunch. Not to paint with such a broad brush, but they're not usually the most sophisticated bunch. And so if they think they can get a free tree service job out of it by lying to me, and then that kills any additional leads that they're ever going to get from me, some of them think that's a fair deal. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. So anyways, I got to move on. I'm sorry. I hope that's helpful, Lewis. It's just like I said, I don't charge. The only time I do flat rank and rent is just for the LLG assets, which are just organic assets only. And I will either rent it at just $100 a month fee, or I will assign that to a company if they hire me for larger retainer-based services. That's clear. I like pay per lead or revenue share model much better than rank and rent. Unless, like I said, it's the LOG sites, because those are so easy to duplicate, deploy, and then if you do your competition and keyword and location research properly, a lot of those sites are going to rank with damn near no backlinks at all and no additional maintenance, especially if they're on high level instead of WordPress. I don't have to log in any of my LOG sites and update them. I don't have WordPress updates. I don't really have to worry about hacking. None of that. That's why I love that model, because it's scalable. Just produce those sites at scale. A percentage of them are going to rank with no additional work whatsoever. And those are your starting points. Those are the areas that you target first for prospecting to land clients. And you have something you can point to as results in advance. Like, hey, I've already outranking you in your own area for your own services. Are you interested in working with me? I can do it for you too. And that's the lead in, that's the hook. And then you can assign that site to them if they hire you for doing SEO for them and their brand, or you can just assign them that site for $100. I do it on for $100 a month. That makes sense. Some of you are probably like, $100 a month. Okay. How many of you gone out and tried to do rank and rent for, a lot of the rank and rent gurus out there tell you can do 500, 1,000, $1,500 a month. Maybe some of you have been successful with that. I found it very difficult to do. Very difficult. But $100 a month site, that's much easier to sell. And if you're building sites that require no maintenance and very few backlinks or off-page SEO at all, very, very little at all, if at all, then why not just do it at scale and volume? Make it up in volume instead of, taking a year. And I'm not picking on you, by the way. Instead of taking a year for one site to start performing before you can monetize it, why not build, 50 sites in the next year, one a week for the next year, and you got 50 sites, and 30 or 40% of them, if you do your competition research properly, are going to be ranking with no additional work or maintenance required. And now you've got those that you can go out and use to pitch your services to those companies in that area, right? And you can land retainer-based clients, and you've got your lead gen line. That's how you start to build a business much quicker and faster without having to wait a year to monetize it, in my opinion. Again, I'm not picking on you. I'm just stating how I've been developing my business recently. Okay.